Hi everyone, Clayton speaking. This is just going to be a update video of what I have been doing lately. The last video I did was a tutorial video on just basic simple weathering and rust techniques. So I have finished the vehicle. I haven't started on the crew as of yet, but that's hopefully we can see. It'll focus in. There we go. So that's the result. That's the end result of that how-to video. If it focuses, there we go. That's probably better. So we can see, like, from there, that's the I put the sponge in and talked about putting the sponge in and dragging it down. So if we get in nice and close, you can see the sort of effect that we're going for there. Gives it a more natural rusty look. So yeah, that's that. That's how the sponge technique turns out. If you haven't seen that video, I would suggest you pop back in my playlist one video from this one and just have a quick look at what I did. If you want to get this sort of a effect on, this will work on any vehicle. Like I said, apart from normal Eldar, which we all know is my first love, Craftworld Eldar, but because they're not made from metals at all, you could probably, I was thinking about it in retrospect, you could probably use that as mud, which would probably, it'd come across alright. I'll just leave the silver, clearly just leave the silver out of it, and you could probably use that rust effect for maybe like a clogged up mud, would probably be okay. So that's that. Raider number 1. This is Raider number 2. I'm calling this one finished, except for I haven't decided on whether to do freehand, use transfers, or if I'm even going to bother putting any sort of symbols or Kabal markings on them. I don't know yet. But again, this is just the sponge technique. So that custom green mix I made up. I'm calling it Asylum Green because it kind of looks like when you see the movies and they're in the mental asylums or sanatoriums. That's what it looks like. They always seem to have that weirdo green color in the horror movies when they're in the being chased through asylums and whatever else, mental hospitals. So that's that. I'm kind of loving the Dark Eldar. Do I love them more than Craftworld Eldar? At the moment, I'm going to have to say yes, I do. Because I've been gaming with the Dark Eldar, and I absolutely love using them in games. And I haven't lost yet. I have 3 games, 2 massive wins, and we had to call one game at turn 3 because the time was running out, but I was on track. Once you've got 2 Talos into hand-to-hand combat, your Lord and your Incubi in hand-to-hand combat with the Imperial Guard, you know you're getting ready for a win. So, this one here, I added a little. This is the first one I did where I did I mixed up a blood red, just this one here. I mixed up bloody red and it's a little tiny bit of charred brown, and it actually come up this colour, and this is before I bought that rust effects from Vallejo, so pretty happy with that. I haven't had a chance to use this beast yet, but and also I don't know what to do underneath. It's very pretty. This because I got all this second hand. I don't know whether I've mentioned that. I probably haven't. I got a whole Dark Eldar army second hand. It was like 3,000 points of Dark Eldar, and I paid about $50 for it, Australian. So, and the base coats were pretty cool. Like, it was nice and smooth. So I didn't even bother to strip them or anything. I just did my own thing over the top. And gradually now I'm adding to the Dark Eldar. I'm buying models for it. So this is the Ravager. Went pretty heavily on the damage on this one, because I think in my mind, if you're this gunner dude sitting out there, there's going to be a lot of bolt of fire and whatnot coming at the little dudes hanging off the edge, so I kind of really went to town on this one, but it's like I said in that tutorial video with the aging, it doesn't, to me it doesn't matter. I know there's other tutorial videos out there where they say less is more, and that's cool, like that has its place, definitely, but for me, it's a battlefield. It's make-believe. We're grown men playing with plastic toys. You paint them however you want, and I wanted these things to be as dirty and gritty as possible, with still having some sort of fundamental base colour in there to give the army continuity. So that's my thought pattern behind really getting involved and getting these things rusty and dirty. And hey, the Dark Eldar look just as good when they're all pretty too. Like, if you don't put any damage on them, they look fantastic. That's probably another thing I love, or I'm loving about the Dark Eldar, is I've seen so many people paint them in different ways. For example, Idic Beer, Nick's doing his Dark Eldar in a theme from Star Trek Voyager, and they look fantastic. Done with browns and oranges, and he's using the symbols from the Curzon. I'm sure they're Curzon. No, that might be Curzon Dax I'm thinking of from Deep Space Nine, but anyway, nerding out there. Yeah, but anyway, his army it's got that. There's no weathering, but it looks fantastic. It's just, and if you have a look at Lawrence's Dark Eldar army from Tabletop Tactics, again, just using purples and doing the freehand symbols on it, just fantastic looking army. I love the Dark Eldar. There you go, love them. And I'm more interested in painting Dark Eldar at the moment too, because there's just a lot more freedom to them. And I'm calling these guys the Kabal of the Shattered Soul. That's my name for them. So that's all beaten up. That's a darker one. The green on this I did a little bit darker on purpose, because this is going to be the Archon's personal raider. So I thought I'll make it a little bit darker, just to, it's still got continuity, but it just separates in the shadows in here a little bit. It's just a little bit darker. To me, that's giving it the impression of it's a little bit older. It's lasted longer. So therefore it's the patina and the colour, it's just got a little bit worn. You can see I've put a lot more damage on the front of it as well. And focus, go, now. So a lot more damage on the front. I've broken the blade underneath. Like there's just broken bits on it. Very much so on purpose. The splinter rack is very rusty. So that's that guy. I'll spin around the other side, give you another look at this side as well. The other thing too is back in 2nd edition, I had a Plague Marine army. Well, I had a massive Chaos army, and I loved the Death Guard. I just had a ball painting all of the Plague Marines and the Great Unclean One, the Plague Bearers and all that sort of thing. So, whilst this is by no means meant to be a Nurgle-based Dark Eldar army, it's, you know, there's similar sort of palette involved without the bones and the whites, but yeah, it's kind of making me want to paint a Nurgle army now. I think if Chaos are released, if they get a new codex or update, I know they just had a an update and an erratas on them, but they're still shit. So, and this is my Venoms. Again, that's just using the sponge technique. And then with the Canopy, I've painted the Canopy the same Asylum green as I did the body, but I just went heavily on the washes. I just used, I don't even know what it was like an armor wash, the old school armor wash. I've still got a pot of, so that's alright. The rider's not done, the gunner. I haven't finished her face or arms. There's no detail on her yet, because I kind of want to do all of the Kabalite warriors, the witches, the scourges, all of those I kind of want to do in a batch, because I have a plan for them. So, as you can see from that one, it's a little bit bitty at the moment. That's that. They've got pretty good continuity. I painted the canopies different colour just so I know, you know, there's Trueborn in this one and Incubi in that one, because I forget stuff. So little tricks like that, just painting the canopy different colour, or even like this one's got a red flag and this one's got the spiky skull dude things on it. So shit like that makes it really easy to remember what squad is in where. And last but not least, I've just painted up. I might just move the camera over here. I've just painted this Chronos. I finished him last night. Well, not finished, but the majority of it is done. And I used the chipping medium from Vallejo, which it was interesting. It was fun. I've painted it in that red-brown combination. That was the first undercoat that I put on it. And then I did a gloss. No, it wasn't gloss, sorry. It was a matte varnish over the top of that, just to seal that reddy brown colour in. And then over the top of that, I put the chipping medium on and concentrated heavily towards the edges, and then also a few little sporadic bits here and there, kind of like a stippling effect. Waited for that to dry, then I did the Asylum green over the top of that, and then with using a toothpick, a cotton bud, and a chisel brush, you put water on it, and the water activates the chipping medium, and you can just sort of start to push it away, and it actually gives some nice depth between what you want to have the undercoat and a top coat. And I got the paint to crack, which I wanted it to do, and then over the top of that, I watered down the rust effects, and painted the rust effects in where I thought it was appropriate. And then that's the underside. So I wanted to go for a very, how would you say, a bruised looking sort of skin tone. I didn't want it to look a human or human-esque at all. I wanted it to be, I know it's going to be alien. I wanted it to look alien. There you go. But I wanted it to look distressed, so I used purples and greens, Warlock purples, and I used Dead Flesh mixed with Alien Purple to give me a base, but I can't tell you the combination off the top of my head, because it was just a massive wet palette that I was blending as I was going, and using blue, like I said, blue washes and green washes. So that's my Chronos. I have a Telos that's second hand, painted in the gentleman's colour scheme that I bought off. So he will turn out looking like that. And my new toy turned up. Talos, got that ultra cheap, so when I saw it I thought, yeah, I'm gonna buy it, because I really like the idea of that corpse thief claw. Kind of digging on that. And in that second-hand army, I got I think it's 20. There was 20 racks, and the bigger ones, I've completely just drawn a blank. You Dark Eldar players will be yelling at the screen at the moment. No, gone. There was about 5 or 10 of those guys, so they'll all be painted up similar colours with that sort of that flesh tone. So there you go. That's my Dark Eldar so far. You probably thought you'd never see me love another army other than Craftworld Eldar, but here we go. Also, I just bought the Doom of Mimiara, which is how it's pronounced, and I love it. The Corsairs look fantastic. And you'd know from previous videos of mine, I have Warp Hunters and Nightwing. What else have I got? Wraith Seer, things like that. Forge World stuff, basically. Revenant Titan. And I love the idea of the Corsairs. They float between Craftworld Eldar, Dark Eldar. So I'm going to start converting and building a Corsairs army as well. Not 100% sold on what colour scheme I'm going to do them, but I'm thinking it's going to be possibly in the reds. Maybe the Void Dragons look pretty cool. So probably reds and blacks. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. And last but not least, in this ridiculously long video, is last night I was playing around with the with this green colour, and I decided I'd paint a Kabalite warrior in the Asylum green, and then I just put the wash over the top, and it's a wash I only bought the other day, and I will grab it for you. It's an ink, sorry, not a wash. Whoop, there we go there. So it's called, oh, no, in camera, stupid. It's called Black Green. Game ink from Vallejo, Black Green. And it is magic. The viscosity of it is beautiful. It doesn't leave the dried out marks that other inks that I've used. It just doesn't leave those ringed marks. Yeah, it just goes into the recesses perfectly. So painting my Kabalite warriors is going to involve airbrushing the Asylum green, use a base brush, paint the ink all over it, and then the weapons will be just like a mithril or bolt gun silver with the rust painted over it, and any of the little greeblies hanging off, flags and whatnot, are going to be a pale skin colour with just some sort of, I don't care, like a sepia wash over the top. And that'll be it. That'll be my tabletop army done and dusted. So 30 odd warriors should take me one night of painting. Alright, that's it guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to comment, give me the thumbs up and subscribe. But definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you think about my paint scheme and the weathering and whatnot. And if you want me to do a video on how I did this chipping effect thing, then by all means let me know down and I will do a tutorial for it. Alright, cheers guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.